Hello, this is Brother Cromer from the Math Department at BYU, Idaho, and this is a supplement of Lesson 15 dealing with SPSS commands for ANOVA. So these are the four different groups of commands we'll cover for Lesson 15. One is the histograms, the second one is recoding, the third one is explore, and finally it'll be one-way ANOVA. These first three you've already done before doing with independent samples, so we'll review those again, but then the last one-way ANOVA, that's a new item, we'll cover that as well. So first of all, let's go through histograms. So what I'd like to do is go to the gratitude data that's found in the online textbook. And this is where there were three different groups of people. The grateful group, who recorded things that were grateful for each week. Then the hassles group, they recorded hassles. And then the last group, which is the events group, they recorded the events. And then the life view variable, that column, represents how they rated themselves in terms of how happy they are. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's do the histograms first. If we go to Graphs, Legacy Dialog, Histogram, we'll put in the life view, since that's our measured variable. That goes under variable. Then we put in the conditions, and we can either put that in the rows box. If we do that, the graphs will be stacked one on top of the other. If it's in the columns, they'll go side by side. But we'll put it in the rows box, because that would be my preference. And if we click on OK, and you go to the output, you would see something that looks like this. So you have graphs that are stacked one on top of the others from the three different groups. Okay. So then the next item is recoding. So what I'm going to do is that let's go back to the data here. And so we typically, as a review, we typically do recoding if we have a grouping variable like condition is, and the string variable is super long. Now if you go to the variable view, you see the string size is 270, so this is where we need to do the recoding. So if we go to transform, automatic recode, and then we so we put the condition variable over here, that's the grouping variable. We'll just call it condition recode, and then add new name. And so if we click on OK, we're going to see that we have a new column of results. 2 represents grateful, hassles are 3, and events are 1. And usually the recode is done alphabetically. Okay, so that is the recode. So then the next item is doing the explore command, okay, in SPSS. So let's go to that. We go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and Explore. So I'm going to put the life view variable, that's the measured variable, into the dependent list. The grouping variable, since I went out of my way to do the recode, I'll put that here. And then I go to plots. Okay, and I'm going to click on histogram as well as normality plots with test, but we're primarily interested in normality plots with test. Click on continue, and I believe that is it. If I click on OK, then you'll have a whole slew of output here. Okay, a group of output for each group: events, grateful, and hassles. So then here are the 3 histograms. Now notice here that the horizontal axes, the scales are all different, and that's why I prefer using the other histogram command, where you do Graphs, Legacy Dialog, Histograms. That's the better way to do it, so that each of those histograms have the same scale. And then if you go further down, here are some QQ plots. Okay, there's 3 of them, one for each of the groups. And then the last one you have is histograms, and that could be also either histograms or box plots, or the descriptive statistics that you need for this analysis. Okay, and then lastly, what we'll do is deal with the one-way ANOVA. So I'm going to use the hassles data again, or the gratitude data again. I'm going to go to Analyze, Compare Means, One-Way ANOVA. And so I'm going to use the measured variable, which is their score in terms of how they feel life as a whole. Then I'll put this grouping, the recoded variable, okay. And then what I'll do is I'll click on Options and Descriptive. I'll also include mean plots as well. Click on Continue, and then click on OK. And then you have your output here. First of all, this area here, this is why I clicked on descriptives. This is where you get your sample size, your mean, your standard deviation. This is where you get your test statistic. Here are the 2 degrees of freedom. For the numerator is 2, and for the denominator is 189. Then your p-value is here. You don't have to do anything with this p-value. You can leave it alone. You don't have to divide it by 2, because we're not doing a one-sided test, though you don't have to. Basically, this is the p-value. With the t-test, if you get a result that's under the sig value, then you have to divide it by 2 if you're doing a one-sided test. If it's a two-sided test, you leave it alone. But in this case, this is the p-value. Okay? And I had a means plot here too that I'm adding. And that is all the SPSS commands that you need to know. for lesson 15 dealing with ANOVA.